Hollywood's push to appeal to younger Asian audiences. Welcome to VOA Asia Weekly. I'm Chris Casquejo in Washington. That story is just ahead, but first making headlines. South Korea's military said Wednesday that a recovered North Korean rocket, which crashed into the sea after a failed launch in late May, had no military utility as a reconnaissance satellite at all. Military experts said it is the first time South Korea has secured a satellite that the North has launched. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen arrived in Beijing on Thursday for meetings with senior Chinese officials on a broad range of issues, including U.S. concerns about a Chinese counter-espionage law that went into effect on July 1st. Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee issued a warning Tuesday to pro-democracy activists accused of violating the territory's national security law, saying they would live in fear unless they turn themselves in. Hong Kong police on Monday issued arrest warrants for 8 activists, charging them with national security offenses and offering a bounty of more than $127,000 each for information leading to their arrests. The Taiwanese Army ended its 2-day live fire drills Tuesday, which aimed to test combat readiness and demonstrate the firepower of the armed forces. The International Atomic Energy Agency head Rafael Mariano Grossi said Wednesday he was satisfied with what he saw after visiting Japan's tsunami-wrecked nuclear power plant. In a report submitted to Japanese President Fumio Kishida, the United Nations IAEA affirmed the safety of a contentious plan to release treated radioactive water into the sea. A massive earthquake and tsunami 12 years ago destroyed the Fukushima Daiichi plant's cooling systems, causing 3 reactors to melt and contaminating their cooling water, which has leaked continuously. The water is collected, treated, and stored in about 1,000 tanks, which will reach their capacity in early 2024.
We say that there would be, if any, the effects would be negligible. Negligible is practically irrelevant.
Grossi was also scheduled to visit South Korea and the Pacific Islands. In recent years, TV shows and movies featuring Asians, including Chinese Americans, have been on the rise. Many of them target younger audiences. VOA's Elizabeth Lee spoke to students at the Taiwanese school summer camp in Washington to get their thoughts on this trend.
A cool Taiwanese treat. It's just one cultural activity that director Cece Su hopes to teach her 13-year-old daughter and other students at this Washington, D.C. Taiwanese school summer camp.
You just gotta tuck the edges in, make a kind of smooth skin on top.
Many here are the children or grandchildren of Taiwanese immigrants. When they are not at camp, Sue says she's happy these students can see people who look like them on screen.
I'm really enjoying the representation that is being put into the media.
Shang-Chi, where now Asian and Asian Americans can be superheroes.
Sue can relate to some of the scenes in Disney's new TV show, American Born Chinese.
I remember having my name mispronounced. I absolutely remember having a brand new Asian student, Chinese student actually, come to my elementary school, and me getting dragged out of class to be the guide for this brand new student.
Is there a Jim Wang here?
Wang.
This is Wayne Chung.
Wei Chen.
He's a new student and he's Chinese, like you. He's gonna tag along to all of your classes.
Some Hollywood productions have been accused of self-censoring to avoid angering Beijing and improving their chances of capturing the large Chinese movie market, but that seems to have changed.
They realized that it's not as automatic as they thought. And the kinds of investment and sort of kowtowing that would require was no guarantee that it was going to happen.
Because access to the Chinese market is not guaranteed.
I love a grand event.
Hollywood seems to stick with universal themes when telling Asian American stories. More Asian American films and shows might also be due to anti-Asian hate incidents that made headlines during the pandemic, says Chinese YouTuber Yao Zhang, who resides in Canada.
Some people, especially Chinese people, wants to show the world that we are not all spies.
Some of these students would like to see more characters with backgrounds like theirs.
If a child wants to be something other than a doctor, lawyer, and engineer, that is acceptable. You know, we won't try to push you out of it.
Outside of camp, Sue's daughter dabbles in acting, recreationally, for now. Elizabeth Lee, VOA News, Washington.
Visit voanews.com for the most up-to-date stories. Thanks for watching VOA Asia Weekly. I'm Chris Casquejo. See you next week.
A chimpanzee caged for 28 years saw the open sky for the first time after being released at the sanctuary in Fort Pierce, Florida. According to the Save the Chimps, the non-profit that runs the sanctuary, Vanilla spent her early years in medical research laboratorium before being moved to California Wildlife Sanctuary. But when the sanctuary closed in 2019, Vanilla and 41 other chimps had to be rehomed. In last June, Vanilla along with the fellow chimps were released on a 3-acre island at the Save the Chimp Florida Sanctuary. The non-profit says Vanilla has integrated into the family group living on the island and enjoys exploring, relaxing, and grooming with the other chimps. India's top opposition leader Rahul Gandhi visited communities that hit by weeks of violence and living in relief camps in a remote northeastern state as a shootout there claimed 2 more lives. Gandhi and the supporters of his opposition Congress party headed out by road to one of the worst hit areas, the district of Churangchampur. Police blocked their passage for hours, citing security concern amid the protest by some women groups opposing Gandhi's visit, said Sambit Patra, a spokesperson for the governing Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party. When dozens of Gandhi supporters refused to turn back, police released tear gas.
The Voice of America, VOA.
Thank you very much for being with us at MLINE Top 3 Updates powered by VOA Voice of America. We'll be seeing you pretty soon. But before that, would like to remind you once again to visit Instagram account at mirzawardana. Go to the Insta story to check out some of the good recommendations that you can go shop there. Until next time, thank you very much.
Check the song.